on this Monday night. Game 4 is in the books. And for you Knicks fans, it did not go the way we had hoped it would go, man. 109-101. The Knicks fall to the Heat in Game 4, a pivotal game in this series. And this was another one where the Heat just came out and dominated from end to end, wire to wire. You wanted the Knicks to play hard. They did that, but they didn't play smart. You wanted the Knicks to come in with some more offense. They did that, but the Heat's offense was better. And just like that, the Knicks find themselves down 3-1 in this series and have some soul searching to do, man, as they are on the brink of defeat. Salute to Knicks Nation once again, man. CP the Fanchise, JD Sports Talk, Alex Taros, the Holy Trinity of KnicksFanTV in the building. Simulcasting on youtube.com/KnicksFanTV and Bleacher Report, man. So salute to all of our friends at Bleacher Report tapping in. And unfortunately tapping in on a tough loss, man. Because as I said, this Knicks team is now down 3-1 in this series. And here's the thing, fellas, with me. You know, after the first few losses, yeah, you can argue, okay, we didn't do this right, we didn't do that right. But if they're corrected, you come back, you bounce back strong, and you win. But at this stage in the game, down 3-1, it is evident that this New York Knicks team is not the better team in the series. It's the Miami Heat. This Knicks team is getting outclassed. There are no advantages in which they can seek to win this series. If you look at it, star power, advantage Heat. Coaching, advantage Heat. The areas where the Knicks came into this series with advantages have now been evaporated. The bench, Knicks are getting dominated in this series. The hustle stats, dominated. Tonight, they get crushed on the boards by the Miami Heat, an area that the Knicks have killed the league in. And tonight, for the second game in a row, they get outscored on the second chance points. The hustle category, boards, bench, stars, coach. The Heat are the better team, man. The Heat are the better team. And as I said, you want the Knicks to play harder than they did in Game 3. They did that. They didn't play smart. They come out the game, 5 boneheaded turnovers, 17 turnovers again overall, leading to 22 Heat points. Taking care of the ball was a Knicks strength, not in this series. You wanted them to get more offense? They did that tonight. The Heat's offense was better. Every single Knicks run seemed like it was met by a Miami 3 or a demoralizing offensive rebound that led to maybe a 3-point play for Jimmy or a second chance opportunity for Bam or a 3-pointer by Strus, by the twin, by Lowry. You know, the Heat were just swarming in this game, and the Knicks now find themselves down 3-1, man. Al, give me your takes on this thing, man.
It's the same thing I said in Game 3, CP. The Miami Heat have just been disciplined. You just watch it all across the board. I mean, the Knicks just got frazzled every single time. The offense was fine tonight. It was on the defensive side of the ball, which, you know, it's whether it's protecting the 3, closing out, boxing out to get the rebound, every little area that you need this team to focus in on. If they want to compete with a seasoned Miami Heat team, they couldn't do it, man. And then when they started to get back into offensive rhythm, you start to see a turnover, right? Or you'd see a turnover, whether it was by Randle and throwing up his arms in the air, RJ getting across half court and then throwing it back for Max Strus to go get the ball and just get an easy layup when trying to find Brunson. It's just the inability to stay calm and composed when you're in a tight situation, and you just see the youth in the Knicks, the inexperience of being in the second round. And because of that, New York was just not, the series not over, but man, being down 3-1, you'd have to hope for a miracle at this point for them to come back, because it's just been demoralizing, man, just to watch how the Knicks how the Miami Heat have been able to execute in all facets of the game. Just been demoralizing.
Yeah, man. JD, your thoughts, man?
They weren't ready to defend tonight. This team was not ready to defend the Heat tonight. And it was just mind-boggling at the nonstop technical mistakes falling for every single pump fake
Everything.
at the 3-point line. They were falling for every single pump fake, whether it was Max Strus hitting everyone with a pump fake, Kyle Lowry hitting everyone with a pump fake, Duncan Robinson. It was everybody. Kevin Love. And the thing is, again, and this is why this team is so well coached. Once the Heat saw that the Knicks fell for it one, a second, a third time, they continued to do the same move. It was just a different player with the basketball. And don't tell me that's not Eric Spolestra continuing to attack any leak that he sees on the opponents. And that's how these are the little details that sometimes you look at that roster with no Oladipo, with no Tyler Hero, with Jimmy Butler missing a game, even though they lost, but you still saw how they played, missing a game in the series. And you ask yourself, how did this team beat the Bucks, a higher seed? How is this team now on the brink of beating the New York Knicks, a higher seed? Who knows what they do after? It's because this head coach looks for every little advantage he can get, every little weakness he sees on your defense from game to game. And every game, it seems to be a different story with how the Miami Heat are beating the New York Knicks. The Knicks tonight get back to basics. They start Quentin Grimes. You start to see a little bit of the spacing early on, and yet they scored 30 points in the first quarter, and they give up 31. And a lot of disappointing performances for me individually on this team. And now your backs are really against the wall, and you have to win one in New York and see what you can do getting back to Miami. Very disappointing to me. This team was just not prepared to defend tonight, and it's just awful, man. Just awful.
Terrible. And again, I mean, look, there was no bigger indicator by, as you say, this team not being able to defend. Take a look at the third quarter. I mean, they played this is probably their best quarter of the series. 33 points in the quarter. They gave up 34. They come into the quarter down by 8. They come out of the quarter down by 8, down by 9. Sorry. They shot as perfect as you could shoot in that third quarter, and Miami was that much better. Like I said, man, every single time it seemed like 5-6 was that magic number where the Knicks were able to bring it to that point, and Miami would stretch it back out. 8, 9, they go on a run. They get a backbreaker 3. How many times do we see this Miami Heat team drag the shot clock down to 0 and finish it with a 3-pointer or a 3-point play or an offensive rebound that led to something else? I mean, this was just a demoralizing game, man. And like, I just think that this Heat team they're able to raise their level of play. I mean, let's look, I hate giving this team respect. I hate giving the Riley team respect, but coming off a win over the Bucks, the 8-1 matchup, beating the Bucks 3-1, they're a better team, man. They're able to raise their level of play, and the Knicks just can't get there, man. The Knicks just can't get there. Now, we talked about the lineup change. No Quick tonight. Grimes started. What did you guys think about the rotations? Because Nicole 1963 in the chat says Thibs in his 9-man rotation. Thibs set in his ways, not willing to make changes. Obi can't get 5 minutes. Dogs on Jones 121 says you play Toppin and McBride 2 minutes in the first half, then 0 all second. Al, I'll start with you, man. Did you have any issues with not going to those bench guys in the second half based on how this thing played out?
I had no issue with the bench players. What I had an issue with was the staggering of either Julius or Brunson with that unit. Because when you saw out there, and that's real, you look at all 3 quarters, CP and JD. Heat went 31 and 30. Heat had 31, Knicks had 30 in the first. In the third, Miami had 34, Knicks had 33. In the fourth quarter, New York had 20, Miami had 19. But when we look at that second quarter, when that second unit came in, and the full second unit with everybody, Miami got 25, New York got 18. The second unit was just, it has no offensive creation, man. There's no one who could score in isolation. There's nothing. Nobody. No one's getting to the teeth of the defense to get anything going. Once you took Brunson out and put McBride back in there, everyone was just hanging out around the perimeter. You had RJ trying to get into the lane. Maybe it was Josh Hart. but then you had to settle for Obi threes, McBride jump shots. It wasn't anything offensively creative to get to those shots. You know what I mean? Yeah. What Thibs, in my opinion, needed to do was stagger. You had to have either Brunson with that unit or Randle, somebody who can make the second unit be punished and really focus in on somebody to create opportunities for everybody else. But if you're not going to do that, then I don't want to see that second unit out there. And for Thibs, the way he was coaching, you could have put the second unit back out there, and it would probably have been worse of a final score if we had him out there. If Thibs was not going to put Brunson or Randle with that second unit and stagger their minutes, it was not going to be any better. That's something, though, she did do tonight, because you will get that second quarter, man. You wish you could have had that one back.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen it. Some of those rotations were a little bit cringe out there. They just had no engine, and you definitely needed to see either Brunson or Randle kind of be that leader for that second unit. Knick's second unit getting outscored. Knick's bench getting outscored 32-10 in this game, man. The story of the series, man. Knick's bench getting outclassed. JD, what you think about the rotations tonight?
They weren't good. Early on, when he made that decision not to have Randle and RJ and Randle and Brunson on the floor, but he had RJ out there, we didn't even feature RJ that much.
Right.
So it's like, on the flip side, when Butler's not on the floor, Spo makes sure that at least Kyle Lowry is on the floor, and then he puts a lot of action around Kyle Lowry just to create a little bit of chaos and enough movement to create offense. On our end, we don't do that. And notice, again, when Jimmy's not on the floor, a lot of the offense is run through Kyle. I know he's the point guard, but he makes the decision. If you're not going to use Randle and Brunson at the same time, or either or, and you have RJ out there, run every single action through him.
Yeah.
You don't do that, and that's the risk you run. And then, boom, we look more lackadaisical. We look more lost. And when you do that, you risk losing the confidence of the players on the floor. And I think that's what happened. Players started to feel more pressure. How do you do that in a game that's so important, in a must-win game? You leave these guys out there to dry without the top two players. How?
Yeah.
I don't understand that strategy.
Against a confident Heat team on the road.
On the road.
You need your stars out there, man. You need your stars out there, or a veteran presence. As you said, the Heat did that with Lowry. He was able to allow Jimmy and Bam some time to rest. Knicks needed that. They needed a table setter out there, or as you said, run some more through RJ, man. RJ had his moments in this game. Just wasn't enough. Just was not enough, man. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you're on the Bleacher Report, hit that fire emoji. Salute to all our friends over at the Bleacher Report, man. Salute to all our guys over at KnicksFanTV on YouTube. C. Garcia on the Bleacher Report chat says, we are just not a smart team. Their basketball IQ has to be lowest in the league. Well, you definitely need solid decision makers. Brunson is one. Randle is 50-50. Depends on what side of the bed he wakes up on. Tonight wasn't it. But to start off this game with 5 turnovers, and not just, turnovers in the heat of the action. We're talking about boneheaded turnovers. This has bedeviled this team the entire series. Stepping out of bounds. Grimes and RJ losing the ball out of bounds right in front of Spike. How do you let that happen? How do you let that happen? Throwing it, airmailing guys. I mean, some of the turnovers in a game that was a must-win game. Mentals, fellas. When I say that this thing is as much as an endurance test as it is execution, it's all part of it. It is all part of it. And then on the other side, you had a well-coached Heat team playing fast, free, loose, and confident. 17 Knicks turnovers leading to 22 Miami points. You can't do that on the road, man. You just can't do that, man.
Doing the turnovers and the second chance points, he might have had 17 second chance points to the Knicks 7, man.
Second game in a row, they lost the second chance battle, bro.
There's the one I forget if it was the third or fourth quarter, I think, and it was just endless. It was endless. It was like Miami rebound, Miami rebound, Miami rebound, Miami rebound. Balls out on the Knicks. Miami rebound. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like the focus, the discipline. It's all you need. It's all you need in this game. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's just so frustrating to watch a team that has lived off of second chance opportunities, rebounds. Yeah. I got to be beside myself, man, because this team does not look like anything of what it resembled during the regular season.
It's all been neutralized, man. All of it's been neutralized. The second chance points between Bam, neutralizing Mitch, the turnover battle, everything that the Knicks came into this series as a strength has been neutralized, bro. The bench, everything.
And let me say this, kids, people out there. Tonight's a lesson. Tonight's a good lesson when you look at the box score and you look at, Julius Randle, 8 of 13. Okay. Wow. Over 50%, 9 rebounds, 20 points. -1, JD. He was only a -1, JD. There was, Hartenstein was a -9 and Josh Hart was a -7 and Barrett was a -7 and Julius was a -1. What are you talking about, JD? This is why sometimes you can't just box score watch. You can't just look at stats, and that's why numbers sometimes are deceiving. This is one of the worst 8 of 13 -1 20-point games I've seen Julius Randle play in a big spot. Your team needed you to come out focused. Let's not forget what his role is for the team. You guys just talked about all the points of how we did not look ready, how we mentally didn't look ready, how we didn't have concentration levels out there on the court. You got leaders for that. You got your top players for that. At least you saw Jalen Brunson go down with a fight. Julius Randle has 6 turnovers tonight. And the most disappointing thing about his performance, which you start to see a trickle-down effect, there was possessions he was giving up on defense. There was possessions where he was jogging on defense. There was possessions where he was dying on screens and didn't give that second effort to recover on the shooter.
Strus got him.
I don't understand how this happens in a must-win situation in the second round of the playoffs. Why am I having this conversation about a $100 million player in the second round? How? I don't understand it.
JD,
there was a sequence, CP and Alex, where as I was discussing this on the play-by-play, it's crazy how ironic the basketball gods give you an example on live TV. As I was discussing that, RJ Barrett had that terrible turnover off a timeout. He crossed half court. He was double teamed. They trapped him. He turned the ball over. Strus got an easy dunk. What did RJ do right there? He hustled, got the ball out of bounds, and then he went all the way down court and scored. And I said that right after that. I said, you see that sequence right there in a matter of 5 seconds? Yes, the turnover by RJ was frustrating. It was frustrating. But look what he did right after that. He didn't put his head down and gave up. He went right down the court and scored and gave you the effort, gave you the hustle. I can live with people making mistakes when you get that. I cannot live with the effort that I saw from Julius Randle tonight. That's not the effort that, Joel Embiid and Harden and Durant and Booker. And before you guys say, well, JD, those guys are way better than Randle. Yes, in terms of being star-level players, but you're not questioning their effort level.
Well, listen, man. I told y'all years ago, this wasn't a guy to lead this team to the promised land. I told y'all this.
But he's the second option, CP.
Did I not tell y'all this?
He's the second option.
Boy. These people, I hear you 100%, bro. I hear you 100%. But when when things were going great in the regular season, CP, you wanted to trade him. Take your words back on Julius Randle. And what I say, wait until money time. It's not a knock on the guy, man. It's not a personal attack. People say, CP, you hate Randle, you hate on him. I don't even know the guy to take it personal. I'm talking about basketball, the business of basketball. He's not the guy, folks. It just is what it is. He's not the guy to take us to the promised land. He has talent here and there. His decision-making could be here one day, could be in the tank the next day. Superstars don't do that. You see what Jimmy's doing out there on one leg? Outsmarting the Knicks, finding his way to points, finding his way to the free throw line. Superstars elevate their game during money time. That was my point.
I mean, you could just it's all simplified in one play. Randle has the turnover, throws his hands up in the air, and you're like, why are you having your hands up in the air and not running back on defense? As JD points out, like, where's the hustle? Where's the effort? Where's staying laser focused in the game? That's what you look. And, Brunson did it. Some of the role players tried to do it, man. I get that it's frustrating, but the guys who are able to take it to that next step, to take it past the second round, are the guys who are able to stay locked in, as you said, CP, and just take it to another level of just not only the level of play, but there was a play that Kyle Lowry did, right? You can see the veteran experience. He caught Hart. He caught Hart's arm underneath his arm to fake the foul, right? And you're like, oh, wait, that's not a foul. But yet that's that savviness. That's that veteran player saying, let me stay focused. I may not get this shot, but I know every trick in the book. It's like what CP3 does. He knows every single trick in the book, man. That's what takes you from a good player, that takes you from all-star to great. Yeah. That's why I kept saying, man, it's always what I talked about throughout the rest of the season. Like, it's the focus, man. It's the intense. How do you make everyone else better around you? How? That's what makes a great player. Good players, they can go get their own. They can do whatever, man. They can go get. It's fine. The great players, they make everybody else better. They do. You find your open teammates. You stay locked into the game. Keep everybody focused. That's what it is, man.
Skills 141 on the Bleach Reports app says we lost on rebounds. That's the summary of Game 4, and they sure did. They did lose the rebounding battle and second chance points. Man, 17-7, fellas, 17-7. They lose the rebounding battle by 12, 54-42. And how many offensive rebounds were the Heat getting? That's hustle. That's heart. That's energy. That's just determination. They beat us at our own game tonight. Smoked us, as a matter of fact. It's not good. Like I said, there's no clear advantages for the Knicks in this series. They're going to be packing it up soon. But they had a great series. They had a great season, man. We'll talk about that another time. But, it's just not their time.
Are you trying to tell me that this series is over at the Garden? Are you trying to tell me that the Miami Heat, that Jimmy Butler, they're going to celebrate at the Garden of all places?
Nah, that's going to be nasty. That would be nasty.
Not, but it's certainly possible. Let me know what your thoughts are in the chat. Bleacher Report chat, YouTube chat. On a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not confident at all, 5 being confident.
Can we get it back to Miami?
Can the Knicks get it back to Miami? How confident are you, man? How confident are you? It ain't over till it's over. I get it. But at 3-1, like I said, the writing is on the wall now. Not impossible, but very, very difficult.
It's a steep climb.
A steep climb. And every game has been a steep climb. Even Game 2 without Jimmy Butler, fellas. Let's think about that.
I'll say one thing, though. If there was ever a time to make a little history, or at least get it to 7 and see what happens, it's against an H-seeded team. I know they're not playing like your typical H-seeded team, but again, if there's a fan out there in the chat, in the Bleacher Report chat, in the YouTube chat that tells me, JD, give me some sense of hope, something. I'm not on the negative Nancy. Then what I'll say to you is, when it was the Warriors and it was LeBron, we're talking about Curry, we're talking about LeBron. There's no Curry, there's no LeBron here. And I know Jimmy Butler has gotten all this hype, but Jimmy Butler this series hasn't really been Milwaukee's Jimmy Butler. It's been everyone else.
Okay.
So
that's the thing.
There's something there to try to steal a game. They just haven't been able to do it.
Very sad Knick fan on the Bleacher Report app says, we're just not used to playing more than 82 games. I think that's part of it. I definitely think that's part of it. I think that's part. A lot of people don't like, I said it on Twitter, Knicks, this team is gassed. You can see it all over the place. They are the walking sprained ankles. From Randle to Brunson to IQ. RJ sprains his ankle a little bit early in this game. This Heat team, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. I think experience does play a factor. I think it does. It absolutely does. Listen to what Doc Rivers said about the playoffs the other day. Doc Rivers compared to playoffs. He said the playoffs is a game of emotional terrorism. That's what he said. He said it's emotional terrorism. Why? Because you go through your highs and your lows. You go through your ebbs and flows, right? One game you might win by 2. Next game you might get washed by 35. But how do you bounce back from that? How do you have the mental fortitude, the mental toughness to overcome that? Everybody's battling injuries at this point. But it is truly an endurance test. It's the survival of the fit. So I think they have a little bit of a point there. And now you see Miami kind of seems like they're used to that. And the Knicks are kind of crumbling under that pressure.
I mean, we just saw the Warriors take out the Kings, right? We just saw the Lakers take out the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just talking about experience right there when you look at those two teams. But look, man, I don't want to be talking about going out like this, man, because these teams, these teams are like, honestly, like talent-wise, they're evenly matched. It's just it's the mental fortitude, which is just can the Knicks go home game 5 and say, all right, let's lock it in. Let's really lock it in. Is this the team? Because let's think about throughout the regular season. This team has been the team that has put themselves in a corner, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, look at this. You think Thibs is going to be fired? Hey, no problem. Hey, Mitchell Robinson's down? Hey, no problem. Hey, no Brunson for a little bit? Hey, no problem. Is this the team that's going to be like, yo, 3-1 when we come back to the Garden a little bit? No problem. That's what I need right now.
I was laughing. Look at this quote from Thibs. I got to see how he says it. But sometimes you come across a quote and you're like, wait, what? This quote from Thibs on why our problems are with the offensive rebound. He says, they're shooting long. We're running in. Ball's going over our head.
No.
That's the explanation.
No, Thibs. You got balls falling 3 feet from the basket, and we're losing them. We're losing all the 50-50 balls. Don't tell me about they're going over our head.
How about this? Why are we packing the paint? Can we just stop packing the paint? Everyone's just trying to close out to the perimeter, and it's clearly not working.
Yeah.
Can we please make that adjustment? Stop. I'd rather give up the 2. What happened to saying I'd rather give up the 2 than the 3? You say that in pickup. Well, why is that not true for this?
Yeah.
Because every single time, I see Max Strus straining a 3, Gabe Vincent, Martin, but everybody, Lowry, and it's like they're wide open. Then it's like, oh, we got to rush out. Makes no sense to me, man. No sense.
Man, I tell you, Bam has really been a force in this series, man. He gave Mitch that work. I think he's been a tough cover for Mitch. His defense has been on point, and he's been leading in the second chance battle, man. But Bam, I forgot how many box outs he had on Mitch in the last game, but that's really been a point of emphasis for this Heat team. Try to keep Mitch off the boards. Man. He had 7 boards tonight. Bam had 13, 23 and 13 for Bam tonight. I think it's been a tough cover for Mitch, man. Definitely a tough cover. Duke's Tizzy 163rd in the Bleacher Report app says ATL series all over again. First with a point guard now, and Mitch. I mean, look, you can't blame Mitch for the entire series. Absolutely not. But Bam has outworked him.
Do you say this is like the ATL all over again? What?
He thinks it's the Hawks series all over again from 2 weeks ago when we lost.
No, not even close. I will not. No, I'm not going to listen to that. Not even close.
Yeah.
The Hawks series, that was a lesser team, won. Okay. First round. I don't even want to talk about that. We're talking about a team that was in the NBA Finals in the bubble. We're talking about a team that was in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're talking about guys who are seasoned. Kevin Love, Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. No, I'm not. Get out of here with that. I'm sorry. But I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that this is close to the Hawks. No, not even close.
Mitch, can you please in the offseason, I tweeted this out, please in the offseason, do 2 things. Work on an arc for a free throw. And number 2, can you please work on stop bringing the ball under your waist every time you get a rebound under the rim? It's basketball 1-on-1.
He's got to get hands, man. He's got to get more short-handed for sure.
You're a 7-footer. Stop getting the ball and bringing it under your waist as a 7-footer. Guards and wings, guys showed them you love that. They're just going to stripe it down. They're going to strip the ball. And how many times I've seen it this season, this series, tonight, And it's just frustrating because he's doing it to himself.
Yeah. Cinco B in the chat says Josh Hart, air ball, wide open shots. Yeah, that one air ball he had was horrific.
Worst game as a New York Knick.
Yeah, Obi shot a couple of UFOs, and that's the thing with Obi. It's so interesting because it's like it's either on target or way off. But look, you know, again, we'll get to offseason stuff. We got a lot of time for that, but it's just, you know, you're gonna bring back Hart. They're definitely gonna bring back Hart. You figure they're gonna bring back quickly. It's not enough. It's not enough. And look, Hart does a lot of intangibles to help them win games. He's a big reason why they overachieved this season. That's, you know what I mean?
And this is why people that were panicking, oh my God, we're going to give him the bag. Relax. Players make their money in the playoffs for the most part. And we've seen a lot of, you know, don't go too much here. Don't go too much there. You know, people talk about quickly in the max. That's not happening. People talk about, you know, Hart 20-something. I don't think that's happening. In the playoffs, you see the true ceiling of certain players.
True indeed.
I want to ask you guys this question.
Yep.
Because now we got to see that starting rotation back once again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Thibs making that rotation change too late impacted the series?
Yes.
It's the best they've looked offensively.
Yeah, partly. I don't like slow starts, man. I don't like slow starts. And I felt like it played right into the Heat's hands in terms of closing off the paint and daring us to shoot from three. Right into their hands. That's exactly what they wanted us to do. And we were so scared of the Butler matchup that we overlooked a capable defender in Quentin Grimes and put him on the bench when he was back healthy. Made no sense. It did not make any sense. I didn't like that move whatsoever. What do you guys think in the chat? Did the Hart starting throw this series off for the first 3 years?
Jay, do you have anything? Because I got another question.
Oh, no, I mean, I think tonight was the best they've looked offensively.
Yes.
If this was game one, I wouldn't feel so bad because I'm now saying, okay, let's work on the offensive rebounds. Let's work on the other things, right? You can't, and this is why Randle is so frustrating, because how do you tell that to improve, which is effort defensively? But from an offensive standpoint, you could see in the first quarter scoring 30 points, in the third quarter scoring 33. There was just better respect and spacing from Spo with Quentin Grimes out there starting. Even some of Quentin Grimes' misses felt like positive plays just because of the opportunity that he got and just the threat to show Spo there's a threat there. Sometimes even a miss could actually turn out to be positive against a team. So I thought it was late. Obviously, it was late. This is the best they looked. They just couldn't. They could not respond in the physicality. The same thing that they did against the Cavs is being done to them in this series.
All right. So now this is my second question, right? Because we're talking about an adjustment, and we've seen on the other side of the series this entire time, right? Eric Spolestra, the king of making the adjustment to the adjustment when there sometimes isn't even a need to make an adjustment, but he's like, you know what? Let me just throw this little monkey wrench out for you. Let's see how you handle this. You go into this offseason now with Tom Thibodeau. Masterclass performance against JB Bickerstaff. But now you got to look at Eric Spolestra, right? And we didn't even get to anyone else in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. Are you having questions about Tom Thibodeau going into this offseason?
What was that graph? He's 0 of 6, now 0 of 7 after being up 2-1 on the 500 record as a coach in the playoffs. I don't know.
They need an offense, man. They need an offense. That's it. That's the tweet, right? Is that what the young kids say? That's it. That's the tweet. They need an offense.
That is what the young kids say, CP.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, here's the thing. If they're gonna come back with the running back mentality, right? Because they could very well do that. They could very well do that because there's enough players that haven't played well where they're going to protect Randle and say, well, it wasn't only Randle. It was IQ. It was Grimes. It was this guy. It was Mitch. So it was a team. Like they can kind of mask and give you this fake philosophy of, yes, we're going to run it back and we have enough. We just got to take another step. But here's the problem. You don't have enough ball handling. Because when you look at this core between Obi, between Grimes, even RJ and Quickly, these are not elite ball handlers.
Yeah.
You need an additional of that on this team.
Decision making and shooting.
And if you bring this team back, you're telling me you're going to sell me on the same offensive philosophy that barely moves the ball. You're one of the worst teams in the league in assists per game. Can't make it. Rely heavily on ISO. That's what you're going to sell me on. Because if you're going to sell me on that, then my God, I'm going to start praying that RJ becomes a superstar or that Quickly elevates and doesn't flop in the playoffs. You're going to need something from like that.
You're going to need that.
You're going to take the next step if you're going to bring the same roster and the same offensive system.
Yeah. No question about it. And once again, we are live and direct simulcasting on the Bleacher Report app as well as KnicksFanTV YouTube. For our friends at Bleacher Report, we are getting ready to sign off, man. But you can check out more of today's post-game show at youtube.com/KnicksFanTV. We are getting ready to take some phone calls from our callers as well, man. So definitely tap into that. But once again, we want to thank our friends at Bleacher Report at Turner Sports for having us. Warner Media, matter of fact, for having us. And we will see you guys Wednesday after Game 5, man. CP, JD, and Alex signing out. So to our guys at Bleacher Report, man.
Yes. Especially the backs, the team, the producing team.
Absolutely.
They're awesome.
Salute to them, man. All right. So we are back on YouTube, man. Salute to Rhyme Animal Chuck D, $20 super chat. Says, can't blame Thibs for this. New territory, Green playing millennial ball against Riley's OG's 90s style, punking us and fans alike, scratching our eyes out. This team needs to make Adam Silver respond. Fight something, yo. Salute to Rhyme Animal Chuck D. Salute to Big Surge, 2-month Fanchise channel member, says, before we solved our point guard woes, three-point shooting has always been a weakness of this team. We need a legit 40% shooter who plays defense. That sounds like a 3-and-D wing. We need him. We still need it. And we haven't addressed it in a number of years. And that's still a need. They need shooting on this team. They need shooting on this team. No question about it. They got to get that right, man.
That's definitely numero uno on the to-do list. You need 3-point shoot. This is god awful.
Yeah.
Because you look at the Miami Heat and for a team that was 27th in the league, all their shooters decided to find their jumpers in the playoffs at the right time.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if someone's closing out. Doesn't matter if they're wide open. If I'm sitting on my couch and I'm dreading that thing's going to go through the net, that tells you how good of a 3-point shooting team they are. Yeah. Because every time when I'm watching the Knicks take a 3-point shot, I'm praying that it goes through.
Praying. And when you watch Max Strus pull up, you're praying that it misses. And he was on the money again tonight for them. Give credit where it's due. He's been killing us. 4-10 from downtown for Strus. Love 2 for 5. Caleb Martin 2 for 5. Lowry 2 for 4. Tough ones, man. Strus was hitting some tough ones, man. Let me get the phones going. Call us up 657-383-1509. Let me start the phones up. And once again, welcome to our viewers. 2,000 people in the chat, man. Let's get those likes up. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP, JD, Alex on the 1, 2s, and 3s, man. Knicks lose a tough one, 109-101. Also want to shout out in the chat, Abdul from San Diego. Welcome to the Fanchise channel memberships, man. Also welcome Devin Cerna. James Bruno, $5 super chat says, is it me or did everyone besides Brunson look defeated that whole fourth quarter? If you're going to play with that energy, sub yourself out. ... Randle. $10 super chat says, First Lady of Sports, he should. His defense philosophy is horrible. You cannot defend the paint and try to cover the Heat 3-point shooters. You have to accept and allow Jimmy to get his points and stay on the 3-point shooters. Moonshadow, $5 super chat says, correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't we come back twice from 3-1 deficits with Miami? If so, we got them where we want them. Let's go. Oh, Lord. History means nothing, my man.
Hey, like I said,
History.
This has been a wild one. If there's ever a time, I know there's a lot of these numbers, but it's just weird. It's just a weird time.
Yeah.
Especially this playoffs. You've seen all these lower seeds beat the higher seeds. You know, you see people winning on the road. They're not supposed to. Suns down 2-0. Now they're tied 2-2. Like, it's just, like I said, it's a different time because I think there's just more parity than ever before in the history of the league, as well as there's more of a balanced talent.
Yes.
Than in the history of the league.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're leaving a time where I can debate literally 4 to 5 players, 6 players. I mean, this morning I'm hearing that Devin Booker now is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
You know, like we live in a time where we can now have debates about 5, 6, 7 players being number one. So if there is ever a chance to do it, it is now to make history, but that's not looking good though. It's hard to do it against Spo. You're gonna be Spo 3 times? Woo!
I mean, JD, look at the series in general, right? It's not like the Knicks are getting creamed by a superstar. Actually, if anything, I think Brunson.
That's what she said.
Hey, family show. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. Salute.
Yeah. Oh, brother. Thank God that's not on Bleacher Report.
Yes. Thank God we signed off a Bleacher Report.
But anyway, it's you look at Brunson and you look at Butler. It's not like either one of them is really, you know, it's an even match battle between those two. It's honestly it's the role players for Miami.
I get it, but Butler's put fear in this team all series long, man.
Yeah, he's put fear in this team, but I'm saying from like talent wise, points wise, impact wise, maybe I'll say impact wise, I'll go there. But I'm like, you look at from a number standpoint, everything else. If you're talking about the Knicks role players starting to show up, we're talking about an even series right here. I know that's not what we have right now, but that's because you look at Miami's role players and they've exceeded every single level of expectation. Like they're playing above what they're supposed to be doing right now.
Everything, man. All right, let's take some phone calls from the fans, man. We got a lot of fans on the Discord. Call us up as well, 657-383-1509. Browawa on the Discord. Go ahead first, man. I'll mute your mic. Let's go.
You can hear me?
You loud and clear. Yep, loud and clear. Yep.
So first of all, I want to say, salute everybody. It's a tough loss. Really sucks this time. I'm 37. I'm about to turn 38. And I know how to, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. I know how to take a Knicks loss. This team is one of the most confusing Knicks team I have ever come across. Some games we are a rebounding monster team. Other games we don't know, we're scared of the ball. Our strengths become our weaknesses overnight. I do not understand this team. I gotta agree with JD and Alex on both fronts. I think the Knicks got out coached, and I have to stop being. And this is hard for me because I love these guys, but I have to stop being a Randle and a Thibs apologist. Randle he's a great player, big asset to the team. He just does not have the temperament or the mentality to be a leader on a playoff winning team. He seems to crumble under pressure. He played efficient today, but he just does not when things get bad, he sort of fades. And Thibs, his rotations, he made some adjustments, but never at the right time. And Spo outclassed him at every juncture in this game. It was rough. Yeah. And lastly, I know we're going to be rapid fire. I called in a couple last game, and I said some wild stuff about Richard Jefferson, toxicity stuff. Yeah. I have confirmed you do have a lot of Heat fans on the Discord, a lot of Heat fans in the chat. And they are contributing to a great deal of toxicity in the fan base. So I got to apologize to the Knicks faithful. Yeah. Stay loyal. Keep your heads up, Kings. All these Heat fans, y'all are bums. We are living in your brain rent free in spite of your win. Just go celebrate with your team instead of living in Knicks world anyway. That's sad and that's weak. Otherwise, have a good night, everybody.
Salute,
It's a rough loss, but it is what it is.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Browawa on the chat. Well, that's okay. Heat fans are welcome here. They tap into the algorithm just like everybody else. That's cool. Whether you choose to engage, that's up to you. But hey, man, as long as you guys are in the algorithm, you're chatting it up, chat away. It's all good. You know what I'm saying now? It's all good, man.
I feel you're like over here like Birdman. Yeah. Stay active in the chat. Stay active in the chat.
Like for a classic example, so somebody left a comment on one of our videos, said, the channel's lame. I replied back. I said, well, listen, you watched, you commented, we win. The end. Have a good day. hate it or love it, we win. You know what I'm saying? But the real ones are in the chat. It's our Fanchise channel members. It's the Rhyme Animal, Chuck D. It's TM. It's all the mods. Like we know who the real ones are, the real supporters of the show. So, whether you're a fan of the Knicks, a fan of the Heat, don't matter, man. You're in here, you're tapping in.
Doesn't even matter, bro, because guess what? We have real ones who aren't even Knicks fans who tune into this channel religiously. We got Spurs fans. We got fans from all over all across fan bases. Shout out to all you for always tuning in and tapping in.
Pretty hard in life to be successful without haters.
Yeah, that's
it. Pretty hard. The only person maybe in the universe that doesn't have haters is Kawhi Leonard, because everybody knows there's no point in hating on him because he doesn't care.
Right. It's simple and play, man. Knicks Nation, real quick, for all you believers out there, know this series is not over. They are coming back to Madison Square Garden on Wednesday night. And our friends at Forzano Law Firm want to hook you guys up with 2 tickets to the Knicks versus Heat game at Madison Square Garden on Wednesday. It's do or die now, ladies and gentlemen. It is do or die, and it's still an expensive ticket, man. Our friends at Forzano Law Firm are going to give you 2 tickets to the game, and all you got to do is go to KnicksFanTV.com to sign up. And Daniel, we do have the Forzano Law graphic up. So once again, we want to thank our guys, David and Anthony at the Forzano Law Firm, man. And once again, people, if you guys have been injured in a car accident, a construction accident, a trip and fall, slip and fall, nursing home incident, or if you know somebody, refer them or call our guys at the Forzano Law Firm, man. 718-372-1397. They offer free consultation and free representation until you get paid. It's a great deal. Like I said, call 718-372-1397. Ask for David or Anthony. Let them know CP the Fanchise sent you. You can also go to ForzaноLawFirm.com to check them out. Or you can go in person, 271 Avenue U in Brooklyn, New York, 11223, 1 block from the F train. So once again, shout out to our guys at Forzano for their support. And 2 diehard Knicks fans as well, man. Good guys. Okay, to the Discord we go. Kane Marco, let's go.
You hear me?
Loud and clear. Let's go.
All right. First of all, to whoever's saying that this channel is lame, I would like for you to point out another NBA team that has anything close to this.
No, they don't.
And get up out of here.
Yeah, they don't have it.
Yeah, they're wilding. Anyway, all right, man. This guy Julius Randle has had me on a roller coaster all year long. You know, we hate him, we love him, we hate him again. Thing about this guy is, man, you're right, CP. He's just not the guy, man. Like, you can see games like tonight are so frustrating because it's just, this is do or die. You know we cannot lose this game. We can't go down 3-1, and you're not putting in your effort. You walking to a closeout. You letting rebounds go right past your hands. You throwing the ball out of bounds. You just turning over silly. Come on, man. Come on, man. A superstar's supposed to do more than that, and you want to be a superstar so bad, but you got to conduct yourself like one, man. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Definitely frustrating, man. Look, I've always said Julius is a talent. He's certainly a talent, but he gives the Knicks a certain ceiling. That's always been my comment on Julius. He takes him. He can only take him, but for so far, and I don't think he can take him to the promised land. They need somebody else. They need somebody else better. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, man. I tried to stay away from I don't even know if you guys had a 40-40 event tonight, but
We did.
You did.
And shout out to everybody that came through, man. Shout out to everybody that came through.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I stayed away anyway because the Knicks are 0-4 when I go to them. So I tried to help us out and not go, but it didn't work anyway.
All good, man. We definitely appreciate you for coming through, man. You definitely been rocking with us at 40-40 heavy, man. It's become the number one watch party in New York City, man. Better than the Knicks joints.
It definitely is, man. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, man. That's it, man.
Stay up.
Have a good night, man.
Kane Marco. People in the chat, they were saying that the giveaway is over. I've extended it for another hour. That's right. We did have it over. We did set it to be over at 10. I want to give the people more of a chance, man. We lost tonight. I want to send the people home a winner. It is now back open. Go back to the website, KnicksFanTV.com, and sign up and enter to win. Somebody's going home a winner tonight. God damn it. Might not be the Knicks, but a Knicks fan's going to go home happy.
What a guy. He said, you know what? I'm gonna give you guys an extra chance just because this game was whack.
Yeah. There it is.
Do you guys agree? Do you guys think I was correct in saying that tonight was a Knicks legacy game for Julius Randle? I mean, we're down 3-1.
Yeah.
He has some interesting clips also posting. I'm sure we'll get to those as well.
Yeah.
Just refresh me. What do you mean by like legacy game? Like this will be his game to show that this is the turning point where he shows up. Is that guy?
Because the way that I saw it was you're down 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
You're in Miami. Just get it to the Garden 2-2 somehow. I think also what you see around the league has some influence. The Warriors are winning right now. Everybody else is 2-2. You see other players step up. And also in terms of, that's why I call it Knicks legacy game, because he can go on and have an outstanding career somewhere else. So however he continues to build his career. But this is a player right in his prime, right in the middle of his Knick career. And he's had an up and down Knick career in terms of the belief that fans have in him. You needed to bring it home today. You needed to come through, because I thought that if he doesn't, and we're down 3-1, you guys have to understand this. I don't know that we'll ever have a path like this to get to the finals, to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I understand that the Heat are not your typical AC. They're not playing like it. But you're telling me that next year we expect another AC to be the number 1 seed? Is that what we expect now? There's no Giannis. There's no LeBron.
Right. Things broke right for them.
Things broke perfectly for them.
Yeah.
And you were a 5th seed hosting the 2nd round. You're not supposed to host any round as a 5th seed in the NBA. You're not supposed to. It's not designed that way. You're not a top 4 seed. And how about this? Guys, we can actually get better this offseason. We can go out and make a move for a star player and still not have the path that we have this year. We could get better.
No guarantees.
And we still might not have the path. We are about to potentially go into the offseason without playing any of the top 3 seeds in the Eastern Conference, which I wanted that to happen because I wanted to see how far are we really. I was looking forward to playing the Sixers, the Celtics, or the Bucks, because this whole 8th seed Miami Heat, it doesn't happen every season.
Yeah.
And this was a specific matchup. So what are we really, really, really going to learn about this is one question. And the second is, again, I think part of the Knick fan emotion is they see that this is a path that could have gotten us to the promised land. And that's why I think Julius had to come through tonight, because I don't know if he can come back from this. You mean to tell me next year when he's scoring 25 and 10 and we're doing post games, people are going to now develop that New York Yankees type mentality, that, superstar type mentality with Randle in terms of the New York fans, where it's no longer going to matter starting next season if he's here.
Yeah, he's like
what
you
do in this season.
Yeah,
it's no longer going to matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like
you could be first team All NBA. You could be Joel Embiid. People are still not going to trust it. That's the territory that this team is going into with Julius Randle as your number 1, as your number 2 option. His expectations are going up next year. I hope everyone knows that.
Oh yeah,
doesn't matter how young
for
this
sure.
team is.
Oh,
they always do.
So that's why, to me, this was a Knicks legacy game, and with him not delivering, I don't know if he can come back from that unless we make history this series.
Money time. Daniel, can you Can you play the Julius sound bites from this game? I'd say from Julius at the podium.
You guys haven't been able to get the amount of offensive rebounds and loose balls that you were in the Cleveland series. Just what have they done, maybe to kind of beat you at your own game almost?
Just maybe they wanted more. I don't know. That's been who we are all year, and we got to find a way to, step up and make those plays if we want to keep the season alive.
Julius, to that, where do you go to find that in the middle of a series?
I look within. That's all I can say. Look within. How bad do you want it?
How much frustration was there? The fouls on you, Josh, Jalen in foul trouble. It just seemed like all game long you guys were fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah, that was tough. As far as officiating, that's one of the toughest games I've been a part of. Usually the physicality in the playoffs is up. I don't know, I had 6 fouls, and I think maybe 4 of them were offensive fouls or 5. That's never happened in my career, so that's tough.
I mean, listen, man, you're down 2-1, facing being down 3-1, and basically looking at the series being over on the road. And you're talking about maybe they wanted it more.
Maybe.
Where the hell were you? Where the hell were you? And if this is a leader of the team, this is what I mean, man. If this is a leader of the team saying maybe the other team wanted it more than we did, this is your leader waving the white flag.
And give the media credit. How about when the media put it on him? Well, subliminally they said, make you, Josh Hart, naming the players that would get rebounds. He goes to the officiating excuse.
Well, he's supposed to be more physical. Now that's for us to do. That's for the fans.
Unbelievable, man.
Maybe they wanted it more. What does it say about you if they wanted it more and you're losing in the series?
Iman Shumpert used to say when the Cavs were down 3-1, how LeBron created like a group chat and he gave them ground rules. We're staying off social media. We're doing this. Got to get one. He was proactive in the leadership.
Focus.
And when you have a leader that understands, because people say leadership can come in so many different ways, CP. It could come by example. It could come verbally. It can come, with just being able to interact with your teammates. You don't necessarily have to be the star player to show leadership abilities. In this case, the leadership ability in this moment that he had here was just to be able to show your teammates and the organization and the fan base that why certain things are not working out. And for you to say, oh, I don't know. Well, Julius, how about you, Josh Hart, Mitch Robinson? But the officiating, I had 6 fouls. If I'm a player and I'm down 3-1 and I'm looking at that, that's your inability to identify the problems after 4 games and you still don't know certain things. So you say, and I'm supposed to think and believe that we can come back down 3-1.
Robert Randolph, man. Come get your guy.
Where's the super chats?
Where's the super chat from Robert Randolph at tonight? It's always somebody else's fault, never his, right? When Brunson goes to the podium, he says, you know what? I suck tonight. I got to do better. He came back and dropped 34 and 11, right? I was interviewed with Fox 5 today. And whenever Brunson has a bad game, he comes back and plays better. 34 and 11 tonight.
CP, let me use a KnicksFanTV example. You're the leader of charge here, right? So every offseason we have, we delegate. We always think about next year, how we can continue to grow the channel, do something different, wrinkles here, there, et cetera, et cetera. Now, when we have that, and I'm like, CP, how are we going to continue to grow? Like, what type of risks or anything are we looking to take? And you're like, I don't know, man. I got to think about it. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say, all right, CP. And then quietly, I'm going to say, I don't know if I want to keep continue to work with this. I don't know if this is the right environment for me. My leader in charge, he doesn't know how we're going to continue to look to grow. I don't know, JD, you give me ideas. CP, I'll give you ideas once you give me the lane and the direction of where we're going.
Correct.
Then I can brainstorm with you.
It's always somebody else, man.
And that's the problem with what happened tonight with Randle is he didn't give his teammates direction on how to get this game 5 at the Garden and then potentially game 6. But I think RJ Barrett did, and I'm sure we'll show a clip of him tonight as well. And you'll see the star difference between Barrett and RJ.
Barrett and Randle.
Barrett and Randle. It might as well be Barrett and RJ.
True indeed, man. Al, anything on this before we go to a call?
I mean, you guys all said it all about leadership, man. I mean, it just goes back again it's just annoying, man, because you expect out of the guy who just made an all-star, who's probably going to get an all-NBA selection, that there's just a competitive fire underneath him where it's like, I will do anything to make sure I get a win. I won't put any excuse on anybody. I won't do anything else, but I'll look internally and figure it out. It just goes back to how do you elevate your team's play, man? And just to hear this, it's just, shout out to him for being there for postgame and for the presser and not ducking it. But look, man, you guys nailed it on the head. I expect more out of a guy who is one of our top paid options, who you look to offensively. I thought offensively tonight it looked efficient, but as JD said, you watch that game, it was not at the key moments. It was when we were down. You look for him to raise his intensity on defense. You don't see that. You see allowing guys like Cody Martin to just drive to the lane. It's the attention to detail that I'd like to see from Randle. If you're going to designate this guy as being a leader, he has to show that quality on the court as well. You see it from Brunson. You see it from RJ sometimes. But it's just like, where is that focus? If I'm a teammate we've all played high school sports, we've all played, some of us had the opportunity to play college sports and so forth. We all know that there's that guy who's like, sometimes they're the leader and you're like, this guy really leading us? I ain't taking it seriously. And then you have the guys who are serious and you see what they do in the offseason, how they lift you up and they're like, it's okay, man. We'll stay focused. We'll stay locked into this game. Don't worry. You made a mistake. It's okay. Pick it up. Let's get it on the next one. It's okay. That's the type of stuff I'm looking from a leader. Talented dude, great offensively, man. Got to step it up. If you want to be considered a leader, those are the areas where you got to step it up to be that leader.
Corso on the Discord. Let's go.
Hey, fellas, can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
All right. First of all, shout out to the boys. JD, great job on the play-by-play today. You definitely crushed the national broadcast. They were awful today.
Thank you.
They're absolutely terrible.
Who was it? It was Iron Eagle and Jim Jackson, right?
Bro, I had it for like 2 minutes. I had to put it on mute.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't even try to listen to this. I kind of had a plan for this call, but after watching that Julius Randle clip, I got to go in a different direction. Listen, I said, what's crazy is that like after game 2, I called in and I was like, I don't want to hear any more Julius Randle slander. Like I was riding for him, this, that. And then you come out here, you make me look like a fool, man. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like at this point, I'm like, yo, leave him in Miami. Like make him walk home back to New York. Like you're going to go out there and not even show any kind of heart, no kind of pride. You're supposed to be a leader of this team. Like, I can't take that, man. It's like with the way it's almost like I'm not even so upset that we lost. It's just the way that we lost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I agree. I understand like they had the starters out there like the whole second half. I get that they're tired, but bro, where is the intensity even from the beginning of the game from Julius Randle? Like he's just so lazy on the closeouts. Seems like he's moping around. Like, man, they gotta. The only bright spot for me in these playoffs, the Cavs series is great, but like I really am looking at like RJ Barrett, and I kind of am starting to see the embers of something. You know what I mean? and maybe that can light a spark, and maybe he could be a star for this team. I really, really like what I've seen from him in these playoffs. I thought his decision making's really improved since like Game 3 of the Cavs series. I really like his shot selection, but man, just a frustrating way to end. Well, the series not over, but they got to get back. I hope that they at least can win one at the Garden. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to watch us go out like that on home court.
Absolutely,
That's all I got.
Hang in there, man. Hang in there. Let's hear from RJ Barrett tonight, man. RJ, 24 points, 9 of 16 shooting, 3 of 5 from downtown. Let's hear from RJ tonight, man.
They're down 3-1 now, going back to New York. Just what is the team's mindset right now?
Get a win back home. That's it.
Simple and plain. Get a win, back home.
Bro, he went at Jimmy tonight.
Yeah, he did. Straight at him. Straight at him.
No fear. Yeah. After saying in the post game last game says, I don't care who's guarding me.
Yeah. Yeah, look, man. That's one thing with RJ. You know, his game might not be sexy, it might not be what you want it to be, but mentally, he wants it. He wants to be great. That's I think that, you know, for some people, that's part of the frustration with his game, because maybe it's that drive to be great where sometimes he can get himself into some bad decisions, but he's been on point. You know, the game before this, Game 3, didn't shoot the ball all that well, but tonight, bounce back with a big game, man. 24 points. Would have loved to see him get even more minutes in this game. And as you said, went right at Jimmy.
But
so
it's that
RJ, man. Good.
But it's that mentality why you're able to give him leeway, saying, okay, just give him time. You know, when you say, oh, he's 22, it's that mentality, because that type of mentality of holding yourself accountable, wanting to be great, that drive going into the offseason and trying to get prepared, that's where you start to bank in on players. Like with somebody like that, we don't necessarily know what RJ's ceiling will be, but we'll know that he'll get close to it because of that work ethic, because of that mentality. I was just listening, I forget where I was listening into, but they were someone was talking about Joel Embiid and how he was in college, and he always talked about, and he even had that tweet, right? He will be MVP one day. Mm-hmm. And every single day you see how Joel Embiid holds himself accountable. He wants to be great. He understands that all of the injuries that, you know, it's not his fault, but you see how every single year he comes back. Look, he wins MVP. That's that type of mentality that you look for in a player, and that willingness to just put in all the work and effort. And that's why for RJ, he gets that leniency. And then it's also why there's some tough love, because he has that mentality, and we're expecting that out of him, right? We're expecting him to be playing better when he's in the slumps, and to figure out how to get out from those poor performances. So that's what you want to see from your players, though, man. That's the type of response that you want to see. You see how in his eyes, he's just ready to battle and just wants to keep this thing going. He wants to extend the series at all costs.
$20 super chat from above the rim says, give me that Dallas pick. Give me KP. Give me Gordon Hayward expiring. No, thank you. Give Thibs an offensive coach. Separate Randle by any means. Time to give the National Player of the Year, Obi, the keys, or ask for his keys. Okay. So to him. To the Discord we go. VA Knick, let's go.
Hey, what's up, fellas? I wasn't even gonna call in, man. I was just gonna tap in and watch. But as soon as I saw the presser, I don't know if I was more mad that Randle had a Scully on down in Miami, or with his daggone responses. Like,
he was making me hot, man, just watching that.
Yeah, I'm just hot, man. I'm like, you the leader, man. Have that same energy you had for us when you was blowing the thumbs down. You know, like,
yeah,
you mumbling over there, man. You mumble rapping, man. Come on, man. Just flip back to RJ, man. That's where it's at, man. Look, man, salute y'all. I appreciate all y'all do. I'm out.
Appreciate you, man. Hang in there, man. Thanks for calling in. Omar from the Bronx. Omar, how you feeling?
Hey, what's up, guys? Guys can hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear. Let's go.
All right, so I'll try to, I know it's hard, but I'll try to inject, I won't say optimism, but I'll try to inject some perspective here. Sure. This has 2012 vibes. That series against the Pacers, we were in a similar spot. And I remember it vividly because we didn't get into the second round these past couple decades except for that series. We were down 3-1. We lost both games in Indiana. And we were kind of dead in the water. But I remember after you won Game 5 at the Garden, the feeling shifted to like, if we could just get game 6, right? Like, I know it's a stretch right now. We're all feeling down. But if we win game 5, I remember the feeling in that series were like, let's just get game 6. If we get that game in Indiana, then they don't want to see us in the Garden game 7. So I know the way we lost today, it's hard to see it that way. But what else can you do? You take it one game at a time. If we can somehow get the victory on Wednesday in MSG, then it's like, if we get game 6, you never know what can happen. And I'll say this, Miami, they're not overwhelming us, man. Like, this isn't the Trae Young effect. This isn't like where we're watching a team doing something and we have no answer. They're just playing freely, and I think that comes from the coach. It seems like Spolestra gives them the green light. He's empowering them. Where our players, they're capable, man. They're just hesitating. And I might be overthinking this, but I think that stems from just the culture. Like, there's parts of what Thibodeau does, and Julius is a part of this as well with his body language. But Thibodeau, he established a culture when he first got here, getting everybody on point, everybody's work ethic. But he also brings the bad side where guys are just like hesitant to shoot. They're hesitant to like make a certain move because they feel like as soon as they do it, they're going to get pulled. They're not going to see the floor. I really think it comes from that. You look at guys on Miami, Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, who like didn't play at all this year. These guys are just shooting the ball like without a thought in mind. They miss it, they shoot it again right up the court. But the shots they're taking, they're set shots. They're not hesitating. They're just doing it. What New York does, our team, man, is just like everything seems forced. Even if this makes sense, even the easy shots, they're making it harder on themselves. So it's just frustrating, man, because like Miami's not the better team. This isn't like the Hawks series where we're this Cinderella story and they just got this player on their team. Where are
the Knicks better?
We beat ourselves.
Where are the Knicks better, bro?
Then in terms of our depth, if people play to their potential, if the Knicks top to bottom from Miami has the best player.
Their bench is getting smoked in this series.
No. I know they're getting smoked, but I'm saying potential wise, if they can play to their potential, the way they've been playing all season, the Knicks have the better team. They haven't been playing like the better team. But I think if Grimes plays the way he played in the regular season, if Quickly plays the way he played in the regular season, they have it potential wise. They haven't been playing that way. I agree with you 100%. But it just seems like everything is hesitant. How many loose balls today did they have? But they just, it went out of bounds. They slipped through their hands. Right. Mitchell Robinson, he upset me. They had a chance to cut it to 5. And he's talking about a couple of weeks ago, wanted to be more a part of the offense. It slipped through his hands. Everything seems so nervous. We don't play with the sense of, freeness. So I'll just end on this. I think at the end of the day, whether we lose in game 5 or we somehow come back in the series, it's still a productive series because worst case scenario, we lose the series. At least we know where we stand. We know Randle's not him. We have to get rid of him in the offseason. Like, I love his talent potential, but his leadership skills are just horrendous. The body language, it's just horrible. It brings down the team. You feel like as a team, I'm not on the team, but like you feel like guys like Grimes Quickly, if they miss a shot, not only do they have to deal with Thibs yelling on the sideline, which I think is toxic also, it gets annoying. You got Randle pouting, kind of throwing his hands up. You never see Brunson doing that. So I think at least we know who's who. We have something to build on. I didn't even expect for them to be playing this time of the year. And we go from there. But listen, take it one game at a time. If we win on Wednesday, hopefully it doesn't look like it. But if we win on Wednesday, let's just get the one down in Miami and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man. Potential means nothing in this thing. The Bucks were the number 1 seed in the East. That's a lot of potential. They got smoked. The Knicks beat the Heat 3-1 in the regular season. They're getting smoked. None of that matters. What they are on paper, nothing matters. It's, are you executing in money time? They're getting out executed everywhere. I just listed it. Star power, coach, bench, hustle, boards, turnovers. The Knicks are not better than the Heat in any stretch of this series. They've been dominating in 90% of the quarters in this series.
CP, let me ask you.
Means nothing, bro. They're getting smoked.
Let me ask you this then. We're keeping the rosters the same.
Yeah.
If Spoelstra's coaching the Knicks and Thibodeau's coaching the Heat, are the Knicks down 3-1?
No, probably not.
Who's winning? Who's winning the series?
Well, that all depends. But are they down 3-1? No. But Thibs' game plan, you played right into Spolstra's hands, bro, with the lineups. They have no offense. They don't move the ball. You play right into their hands.
You just answered the caller's question where we do have the talent, though. the execution is different.
Yeah,
I mean,
but what does it do for us right now?
it doesn't. I get what you're saying. It doesn't do a lot for us right now, but once again, it comes down to your coaching, execution, all of that. I mean, look, if you look at Philadelphia and Boston, who do you think has more talent on that team? Who has the more talent?
Philly or Boston?
Yeah,
It's a close one. Boston definitely has more depth.
I go with Boston. Like, I think Boston has more talent. And then if you see the Sixers lose, I mean, if you saw Boston lose to the Sixers, it's not that they didn't have talent. They didn't execute. You can still have talent on the paper. You can still have talent all around. But the execution, which comes between the mind, that's a different thing. At the end of the day, this team is getting out-coached. The discipline's not there. The caller ain't too far off, man.
You guys are telling me that a team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year is not better than our team, who did not even make the playoffs last year.
Stop talking about last year. This year, they're not last year. They're an 8
They're
seed
a
this year.
better team. They are battle tested, man. What is on paper? What does potential mean? You guys are getting into Cam Reddish territory now. Cam Reddish has potential.
No. You're getting it wrong. No. You're getting it wrong. You're getting the angle wrong. What I think the caller is saying is, you're saying, what does it do for us now? It doesn't do anything for us now, but for the front office, when you're front office, you're in the offseason, you have to identify where it went wrong. Are we a good team? Are we a talented team? Was it the roster or was it something else? Because that's the Hawks are in that evaluation process. That's why they made a coaching change, because they believe that they do have a talented roster, and a lot of it was coaching. That's why they hired Dan Snyder, and we'll see how that pans out.
Look at Milwaukee,
Knicks,
right?
The Knicks are going to have. What did Milwaukee do? Because they feel that it wasn't so much the roster, it was the coaching of the roster. So if you're the Knicks, it's a front office thing where you're going to have to ask yourself, if you lose this series in 5, was this more the roster? Was it a combination? Or was it also coaching?
We just spent 2 hours talking about Julius Randle.
But the Heat at the deadline, there were conversations about them having to trade Jimmy and blow it up.
They were talking about blowing it up.
They were talking about blowing it up, bro.
They were talking about blowing it up.
If they would have lost, in the first round to the Bucks, they might be blowing it up. If the Knicks would have lost in the first round to the Cavs, we're talking about a successful season.
None of that.
Still talking about a successful season right now in the second round.
In the playoffs, it doesn't matter about what you have on paper. It's about what you're doing in the here and now.
That's
the Heat are the better team.
They're the better team this series.
They're the better
team. They're the better team this series. You can't tell me you think the Heat are better than the Bucks. Ain't no way you can tell me that. Ain't no way you can tell me if Giannis plays.
Giannis injury messed up everything.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. So while
could you say that the Randle injury messed up everything if he had him game 1?
Nah, because he's not coming through, Alex. That's the problem. It don't matter.
No.
That's the difference. When Giannis came back, Giannis was putting up triple doubles when he came back and still losing. But
so even still, when we were talking about, because Julius Randle in that closeout game against the Cavs, where he was looking good, man. All right, we all agreed that he was looking good. It was like, oh, whoa, the playmaking, the scoring, all this. It seems like he's really focused. If we had that guy game 1,
no.
Okay,
no way.
No.
All right, I disagree with that.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Even when we had him in game 2 was a struggle without Jimmy Butler. They've struggled against this team the entire series. Like I say, in the first 2 losses, okay, all right, maybe we're still the better team. We just got to tighten up. You're down 3-1 now. The writing is on the wall, man. We are not the better team in any stretch. They're getting smoked in these games.
I think they're the better team because of their head coach.
Coaching matters, man. This is what
because I asked you, I didn't do any roster moves. I asked you if you switch the coaches, who's winning the series? And you said the Knicks. So the Knicks are the better team on paper.
No, I didn't say they're winning series. I
So,
said,
okay,
are
so
they,
you
are
think-
they losing this badly? No.
So you think if Eric Spolestra was coaching this Knicks team, they're not beating that Heat team with Thibodeau on the other end?
It's not a guarantee. You still have a superstar on the other end.
But,
Like
But what would be your prediction? What would be your prediction?
It's still a tight series.
Of course, you got to play. It's the best out of 7.
Where's the respect for Jalen Brunson? Good lord. Man.
Yeah, Brunson's a great player. Jimmy Butler's a superstar. I hope people will finally wake up and see this.
I would die to see what Spolestra would do with this young core that he's doing with undrafted players that are one-dimensional players. Like if we go player to player and we go on the attributes end, you're having more talent on the Knicks end in terms of potential and talent to work with than you do with Duncan Robinson and Max Strus and these guys that are very good at one thing, which is shooting.
Where's
but we don't have the shooting, but we have enough of it.
I don't see it.
We should have enough to beat the Heat.
Bro, they are the New York Bricks for a reason, man. We don't have it.
Hey, listen, if
hey,
Eric
man, there was
Spolestra-
part of the season for a good 2.5 months. They were shooting the 3-ball really well. Well, I'm a little disappointed that you think Butler's that far away from Brunson, from what we've seen from Brunson.
First of all,
look at all the attention that we're giving the guy, bro.
First of all,
look at the attention Brunson gets on a nightly basis.
Look at how he elevates his games in the biggest moment. Look at his playoff scoring average. What are we
He's
talking about?
getting help from his he's getting help from his teammates. He's getting help from Brunson's getting help from nobody over here.
Teammates by
First, you got Randle over here saying, "Oh,
for you to say a team that beat JB Bickerstaff and the Cavs and a coach that just took an 8th seed and beat the Bucks and is up 3-1 on the New York Knicks. And when we can identify, and we've all been saying how much of a masterclass this guy is coaching, because the thing is, we're not also seeing it in performances on the box score. When the last game, the Heat are shooting under 40%, but yet we're identifying schemes and plays on the court of Eric Spolestra. So for us to be able to identify that, and then if I said if he was coaching the Knicks and Thibs is coaching the Heat, and you tell me it'll be a tight series, it's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Coaching's part of the game, man.
If Eric Spolestra is coaching the Knicks might go to the NBA Finals this year. All you got to do is get to the Eastern Conference Finals and makes the point valid. It's only one more round. They're a contender to get there. They if Spolestra was on coaching the Knicks, he would smoke the Heat. He would smoke the Heat.
How many undrafted guys are on the Heat right now? 7, 8?
Yeah.
And he has 7 to 8 undrafted guys doing this.
So what? Knicks got guys doing stuff. Miles McBride was a late pick. They had the simulation. Sims was what, second to last in the second round. It's a big deal. What's a big deal? Knicks got guys. They got young guys. You're not confident in young guys, man.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Don't flip this to being confident in young guys. Don't flip this. Don't flip. Don't flip this. Don't try to flip this script. I know what you're trying to do over here.
I'm just asking the questions here, man.
DP's just say, don't you have?
Let me guess. Wait.
OB 6 minutes.
Let me guess. You're just a conductor.
OB 6 minutes.
I'm just a conductor, man.
You're just a conductor of this conversation. I know. It's okay.
All right, let's get back to the phones, man. Kano man on the Discord. Kano man, guy, now mute your mic. Kano man on the Discord. Going once. Yo.
Hey, can you all hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
My name is Khan. I'm from Miami, man.
Yo, what's good?
What's good? CP, man, I respect your takes and all, but
yeah,
I think I'm more with Alex and JD on this one. I think it's the coaching that's the problem.
So the coaching is the reason why the Knicks are getting dominated in this series 3-1. Is that what we're saying? That
I'll say this, right? So, you know, I'm confused on where the Knicks offense has gone this entire series. I remember right after the trade deadline when we got Josh Hart, we went on the streak. We played beautiful offense, a lot of ball movement, and now it's gone missing. We give Thibs a lot of credit up on being a good defensive coach. Yet he hasn't figured out how to break the zone defense that the Heat play against us. At the same time, he has yet to kind of figure out how to defend the three-point line. Miami plays with a lot of ball movement. They're very three-point driven at the same time if they get an open shot. And we've been so scared about Jimmy Butler this entire series. And he still drops 25, 28, 30. He still drops a lot of points on us. And I feel like instead of getting worried about Jimmy Butler, we should be more worried about the Heat's ball movement, on getting the open three, getting the open shot. And I feel like that's always an issue. We cannot defend the three-point line, which is why during this entire game it was so frustrating, because we'd have like a 7-0 run and we're almost about to catch up to them and they shoot a three. And then we have a turnover, we lose offensive rebound, they shoot another three. And I would cringe every time because of their ball movement, we would leave Gabe Vincent, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson open all the time. And I would cringe because I'm like, oh, this is about to go in. And we'd get lucky a couple of times because it would just go in and out and they'd miss it. And then we score on the other end and it's like, oh, this is good. Let's get a run going. But they're great three-point shooters. That's not going to happen all the time, and they're going to hit their shots. And I feel like Thibs yet in this series has yet to find a way to stop this three-point shot. That's my issue. He can't, like, he's a defensive coach and he can't figure out anything offensively or defensively for the Knicks this entire series. And I think that's more on him than on our players. Our players are shooting horribly. I get that. But, coaching wise, you got to find some sort of structure, some sort of balance. And I think he hasn't found that.
Okay. All right. Appreciate the call, man.
Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay.
Every time CP. Okay.
Hey, listen. All right. A new coach is all of a sudden gonna turn Julius Randle into a better decision maker, a better player. A guy that doesn't turn the ball over, a guy that doesn't sulk, a guy that doesn't blame everybody else. That's on the coach.
I'm not gonna go that far.
Okay. A coach is going to go out there and not allow this team to get out hustled, out muscled, and punked on the boards 2 games in a row. They lose a second chance points battle. The turnovers.
I'll say this about that. When you enable a certain player throughout the seasons that he's been a Knick, these things could happen. You saw Spolestra and Jimmy they almost started swinging at each other. You see Udonis and Jimmy getting at it. You see the culture there is set. Like, Spoelstra's not scared of no player. He went at Jimmy Butler, the player that is supposedly the hardest working player in the NBA and all this. I'm just saying you're right, but when it comes to a guy like Julius, when you enable him in certain areas, don't be surprised when a game like tonight, you're asking, where's the effort? Don't be surprised when a game like the last game, you get that type of questionable effort. And what's the reward? Here, go ahead. Play the whole second half. That's your reward.
Look, the players got to execute. But when your coach constantly has you set and primarily drop, when you see your opponent nailing 3 after 3 after 3, whose fault is that for playing a certain scheme? If your second unit doesn't know how to play a free-flowing offense because what they like to do is live in isolation and then get second chance opportunities, whose fault is that for not creating some sort of offensive scheme?
Okay.
If your team constantly has their shooter just sticking in the corner, and we can see nights where he gets maybe 3 shots, 5 shots, and yet we need him to be that 3 guy along with his defense. Whose fault is that outside of the players? Isn't the coach supposed to get involved at some point? Say, hey, get him involved, get your teammates involved. We're seeing Spolestra just going out there utilizing 10 guys, whether it's even putting Cody Zeller in for 8 minutes. He just knows how to pull all the levers, push all the buttons just to know the right concoction every single minute. And
hold on, what was that word? Let me write it down. I need to look it up.
The right what?
Concoction?
Listen, man.
Hold up. Is that one of your attorney words?
No, it's not one of my attorney words. Come on now.
Jay Serrano on the Discord. Jay, let's go.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
What's
How you
good?
guys doing?
Good, man. How you feeling?
Yeah, all right, man. Just like I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little pissed, man, because you know the whole turning point of this series to me was Game 3. When Cody Zeller started going at Randle and he threw him on the floor, and the fact that our boys didn't have no fight in them, like the only guy that stood up for somebody was Hartenstein, and no one else was really getting into it. And you got to show some type of like heart, you know what I'm saying? I feel like what we did to Cleveland is what the Heat are doing to us. And today, what drove me crazy about tonight's game was that there was a good like 3-4 rebounds and that we could have had in the fourth quarter where we were getting like out rebounded by like Kyle Lowry and Mount and Martin, you know, and it's just like the balls are right in front of us, you know. So I think we're just getting outclassed, out hustled by this Miami team, and you know, but you know, I want to be level headed because you know what, I don't want to jump off the roof and say the season was a failure because it wasn't.
This was a great season, man. This was a great season, man.
We had a great season, you know. So for anyone who wants to throw that negativity out there, we had a bad season. We had a great season, you know, and the series is not over. You know, I think, you know, at the end of the day, we beat Cleveland in the first round. No one expected us to be here, and we still have a shot. But the thing is, I think we're just getting outclassed and out hustled. And, you know, to your point, CP, I agree with you. Like, you know, superstars in the big moments, like they lead their team, they put their team on their back, they make the right play. You know, they don't lose you a game, man. Randle can't do that. You know, he can't do it, you know. So I think there's a lot of questions to answer in the offseason. But for now, you know, let's get this next win. Let's stay in this. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate Jay Serrano for being a realistic Knicks fan, because a lot of people in this chat right now, they can't take it. They can't handle the truth that it's just not our time right now. They're not the better team. Like Stevie Wonder can see this. I wonder why people struggle with this. They're not the better team. Yes, coaching is a part of that. I said that in my list. Coaching is a part of it. But they're getting smoked in every other area. That's when you know you're not better. This is not even close. Not even close. It's the same coaching that got you past the Cavs in the first round. It was good enough, right? You smoked the Cavs. Gentlemen sweep. The Heat are just better, man. That's just y'all just can't. Y'all just can't. The Knicks are just gangbusters. They had a great year, ladies and gentlemen.
They're better, not the way you saying it, man. Not the way you saying it.
Listen, man.
Do you see those numbers last game? They were pretty much the same.
Which numbers?
The what was it? Last game was the game they got smoked. Was it even tonight?
Percentage.
Yeah, the field goal percentage was similar. Even tonight, what was the 3-point percentage? Similar.
Yeah,
like
similar.
We're not like.
What was the difference? The boards, the turnovers,
the schemes,
executions,
the coaching. You know what's the difference? You know what's the difference? You telling me that this is probably the best, and even maybe not even statistically, because sometimes again it's the eye test. This may have been the best spacing they had, and oh, how ironic! It's when you made a late change of going Quentin Grimes to start. Oh, point number 2. You think Eric Spolestra will go to that move and have his 2 guard, who's a shooter? That's the whole point of you putting him back. It's not to have him stand. It's to actually involve him in the game plan. And he plays the first 9 minutes and doesn't shoot 1 shot attempt. And you want to tell me that there's not an issue with this offense system?
No, I didn't say that. I said they need a new offense. I said that during the show. I said he's getting out coached. I didn't say that. I just said the Knicks are getting smoked in other areas of the game. They're not the better team.
9 minutes?
Not being the better team is,
and you don't give them a shot?
Of it is coaching. Part of it is coaching and not being the better team. But it's not all coaching. The Knicks are just not better. When they played the Hawks, they were not the better team.
But I mean, come on. That was talent.
That's a different team.
Come on.
Sure.
We weren't even in the vicinity of the talent pool. No way.
All right, back to the Discord we go. Walabee on the Discord. Walabee, unmute your mic.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah, I would have to agree with CP. You can blame a lot of things, but I wouldn't, blame so much on coaching. I think Thibs is a really good coach, just as Spolestra is. I think at the end of the day, it's just about, can the guys execute on the court? And, the Knicks, they've had their looks in this series. They've had their open look. The Heat have given them their looks. They've told the Knicks, hey, we're giving you this shot. And if you make it, so be it. If you miss it, so be it. But we're going to give you these shots. And the Knicks just aren't hitting it. And I think that's just it. At the end of the day, it's just that, the Heat are taking their shots, and making their shots, and the Knicks, they're just not. And sometimes,
Randle, lazy pass. Oh, here's a pass. Oh, it's stolen by Gabe Vincent. Bam Adebayo running laps around Mitch out there. Are we watching the same game here, people? Go ahead with your point, man. Go ahead. I'm just in a whole nother atmosphere.
No, you're good. You're good. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really playoffs is all about execution, man. It's all about what guys you have and can they make shots. That's the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. Regular season, you can kind of get away with kind of, just hard effort can get you really far. But in the playoffs, everyone's playing hard. And it really comes down to, do you have a guy when nothing's going right? You have a guy that can just give the ball and he can just go out and pull a rabbit out of the hat and make a shot. They have that with Jimmy Butler. And the Knicks, they don't really have that right now. It's tough for them. It's tough for them to just get a good shot right now with the Heat, with how aggressive they are on defense, how aggressive and disciplined they are. And it's just really tough right now. And it's really that's really what's come down to in this series.
Okay. Appreciate the call, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Definitely appreciate the call, man. Who else we got here? Let's go to let me salute some of the super chats today. Salute to who we got.
It's tense tonight, CP.
Who's that?
I say it's tense tonight.
Well, that's why we're here, man. They lost the game. What else are we gonna do?
People tight.
Yeah. That's why we're here. We got to make a good show out of it, man. Salute to Corso, $10 super chat says, doesn't even matter if we don't have shooting with Spo. He coaches according to a personnel he has. Thibs tries to fit round pegs in square holes. Thibs not above reevaluation by the front office. I don't see that happening. That's their guy, man. That is their guy.
Was Nick Nurse fired this year?
Who?
Was Nick Nurse fired this year?
Nick Nurse.
Like
Budenholzer.
Those two guys won championships.
Those are different situations, though, man. Those are different situations, man.
I don't know. People were complaining about Mike Budenholzer's lack of adjustment the entire time, especially when you played against Miami. They were strictly in drop coverage and didn't challenge any of the three-point shooting that they did. And that's been his calling card, is that lack of adjustments from Hawks, Bucks, You got
they scared to lose Giannis, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if Giannis is going to say, I want a coach, you're going to do whatever Giannis asks for. But even Nick Nurse,
they're
man.
scared of losing. That's why they're making that move. They're scared to lose.
The thing is, Ujiri's a guy, he's not loyal to anything but winning.
Period. CP, you got to let go Thibs because we we're going to be scared to lose Randle.
I'm good. I tell you a long time ago what we needed to do. But Ujiri, he's committed to winning, and that's it, man. So he'll make that move. The Thibodeau thing is interesting because he's growing up in this thing with Leon. I don't know if Leon has the stones to move on and try to do better. They are locked in. They're together.
And it's so strange because do you think age is a factor? The league, all sports, everybody's going with young. People are not in today's age. It's funny because back in the day, or not even when I say back in the day, I don't mean like too far behind, but it used to be the experienced guy gets a leg up. But now these, NFL, baseball, NBA, like people are going with more of the young, hot commodity. And it's interesting because he has 2 years left?
Yeah. No, he got a 5-year deal, right? And he was here. Yeah, he's got 2 years left. 2 years
after this. And it's like, it's funny because next year he's going into second to last, and you soon start to gonna have to think about what's the direction you want to go as a franchise, because I think age now becomes a factor. Like, what are we gonna? We're gonna give him an extension, have a 70-year out there coaching, or what? So,
or is he just holding the seat for Johnny Bryant?
I think that's possible. I think that's certainly possible.
Well, Johnny Bryant better have a creative offense. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
because if they're molding him, they're molding another Thibs.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the Discord. Take a couple more. Dark Horse, unmute your mic.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yep, loud and clear. Go ahead.
Hey, just wanted to tap in. I agree with most of the points. I do think that Thibs, like you said about Randle, I think the team has hit their ceiling with Thibs. And I think too many times teams, like they're in the situation we're in where we had a good run, we don't evaluate the coaching. This kind of reminds me of a time where we kind of need to do the Golden State switch when they switched from Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr, even though they had made the second round. We don't necessarily have all the pieces that Golden State had, but, Jalen Brunson, et cetera. We might need to do a switch and get another piece. But I think we're close. But I do think coaching is the main issue. So Thibs did well. He's got 2 years left in his contract. But, I would be surprised if they make a move this offseason.
You would be surprised or wouldn't?
I would not be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a move with Thibs and with Randle. Because the main thing is, like, Thibs just doesn't hold him accountable. Like, Randle played basically the whole second half. It's like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like when he almost went like Minnesota. He didn't hold Jimmy Butler accountable, and then Jimmy Butler got traded. And then after that, they fired Thibs. It's like Thibs has certain guys that he can't coach basically, and I think we're sitting in this situation. So
look, you got to take the good with the bad with him, man. Like outside of Brunson, he's probably your best engine shot creator out there. You see the UFOs Obi's chucking up out there, you're not going to have much confidence either.
So that
if you trade, if you trade Randle, I'm not saying move on to Obi. Like, we can still get another piece. It's not just the talent situation. Really, in my opinion, RJ and Randle don't fit. And if I'm hedging my bets, I'm going to bet on the future. I'm betting on RJ. He's looked better during crunch time in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to have to pick between the two, I'm picking RJ. You just paid him, but Randle's at his height. He averaged 25 and 10. Now's the time to trade him. Wish him the best, but we got to hedge our bets. Like, those two don't play well together at all, even with Brunson.
Okay.
Who goes first, Thibs or Randle?
Thibs.
I think they go on the same time.
Thibs. It's easier to move the coach. It's easier.
Really, I think they're going at the same time. I think there's going to be a superstar that's available in the offseason. We got the picks. Randall's trade value's back up, and Fournier's contract expiring next year. You add whatever piece between Quickly, Grimes, and whoever, Obi, and call it a day.
Yeah, I don't see it as simultaneous. I think that's more wishful thinking than anything else. But I think it'll be the coach first. But I mean, after making it to the second round, like, Thibs ain't going nowhere, man.
No, he's not going anywhere. Neither's Randle. I'd say Randle, though. I think Randle. If you tell me Randle has another good season,
well, then I guess that means we're looking at minimal improvements around the roster.
Yeah,
because I thought going into the playoffs, I said RJ's fighting for his life as a Knick. The way the season ended in the vibes, it was like RJ is fighting for his life as a Knick. And it's crazy how it's turned around, because now it seems like if you're the front office, you might have to put your ego aside. And I know you didn't draft that guy. He's not part of your regime. But that kid has outplayed the guy that you overprotect and you support. And you might have to look at keeping the guy you think you were going to move and moving the guy you think you wanted to keep as part of this core. Because how else are you going to? I don't know that even having a different coach is going to change that weird fit between him and RJ. I don't know that new system does it just because of their style of play.
One of them would need to become a lethal 3-point shooter to coexist.
Oh, you just said something that's unlikely.
That's the only way they can do it, because you'd have to create that spacing, right?
That's your top 3 next year. So how else are you getting better then? How else are you getting better? The coach is coming back, the top 3 players coming back then. How else are you going to get better? IQ's value has gone down. Grimes, the organization believes in him. I just don't think they've really managed him the right way. I mean, that's also part of coaching. You asked your starter to adapt into a bench role in the middle of a playoff series instead of just bringing him back to the starting lineup. And don't tell me he was hurt, because he was healthy enough for you to play him 12 minutes in the fourth quarter. So he's too young. This is his first playoff experience. I give Grimes a pass. This is his first time, right? You see it out there. He's nervous. But other than that, I don't think Obi's value has really been hurt, only because of the simple fact that I think the league understands his situation. So I don't think an opposing GM is going to look at Obi and say is going to really judge him on the Knicks situation, because that wouldn't be his situation on another team. So where else are you getting better? That's why I think it's a tough decision for this franchise to make.
You could even
They're going to have to make a tough decision. They're going to have to make a tough decision. We either changing up the system. If we're not changing up the system, then you look at somebody got to go. And if nobody's going to go, then we go back to, you're going to look at player development. And you're going to ask Obi to get better with 10 minutes a game? How are we going to reach our ceiling? You're going to ask Grimes under this same system with his coach to get better when he's getting no shots or 1-shot attempts after 8-9 minutes run? Like, what are we really going to change that's going to be different than this year, other than RJ taking that quantum leap? That's all I'm saying. That's why it's a great season and all that stuff, but expectations are going to rise, and we're going to come back to finding out in the offseason. The front office has to have those offseason meetings, and you have to figure out what is the avenue to get better. You don't have draft picks unless the Dallas Mavericks picks drops in the lottery. So you can't say draft. What is the avenue of getting better? That's a question they're going to have to ask themselves.
Knicks lose 109 and 101, man, down 3-1 in the series. Daniel, let's hear from Jalen Brunson after the game. Let's go to the Brunson post-game sound bites.
Like almost all game again, you guys are fighting an uphill battle, down 10, 11, cutting it to 6, 5, and just could never get over the hump. Did you just see they seem to come up with what they needed when they had to?
Yeah, gotta give them a lot of credit. They have a lot of experience over there. It's just play better than us tonight, and like you said, we're kind of fighting an uphill battle, and it just didn't do enough within the 48 minutes.
What has to change from these 2 games here?
Everything. Long story short, we need to be better. I need to be better.
All right. So Brunson, despite 34 and 11, says everything has to change. Says Heat team is experienced. And they got outworked, man. 109 to 101. Knicks on the brink of elimination. Shout out to JCal, man. $50 super chat. Says amazing season and not over yet. We have a strong foundation, culture, cap room, and picks. We will land a star this summer. Okay. Shout out to JCal. Let's hear from Dave G. Dave G on the Discord. Let's go.
What's going on, guys? You guys hear me?
Yep. How you feeling?
I'm pissed. I'm down 3-1.
Yeah.
I agree with all of you guys on some of your points about the series in particular. I mean, I think it's definitely both. I think if we hustle a lot harder and get some of these rebounds, I think we're up 3-1. I think if we have a coach that's as equal to Eric Spolestra, I think we're up 3-1, being honest. Like Thibs gets this mantra as an elite defensive coach, and he can't stop a bunch of role players from hitting big shots all the time. Like Jimmy Butler's not the one killing us. Jimmy Butler's not the one who has the Miami Heat up 3-1. Jimmy Butler's been doing what Jimmy Butler's doing. It's Kyle Lowry coming off the bench and killing us, and Caleb Martin coming off the bench and killing us. Max Strus coming off screens and knocking down threes that's killing us. It's not Jimmy Butler getting his 25 points. It's Eric Spolestra who's running a system and getting guys open looks that fit them that's killing us. The two main actions that we run are Jalen, Julius, and RJ running some dribble handoffs to the top of the key to then run some ISO, and then a pick and roll to get somebody in the corner, whether it's Jalen and RJ running it or Jalen and Quentin or whatever. And I would bet my paycheck that that's something that Jalen came up with in a timeout at one point during this year. And Thibs was like, yeah, let's run that. Let's run that for sure. Because the dude's he has no system whatsoever. And that's why we don't get open looks. And that's why our offense is struggling, because it's just reliant on Julius and Jalen to make stuff happen. That's why Thibs is, we all know he's getting absolutely out-coached in this series. But I think JD's right from that point. If we had Spolstra, if the coaches were flipped, I think we're up 3-1. But I also think, like you said, if we're hustling and grabbing these rebounds, we're up 3-1. I think we're up 3-1 that way too. As for the offseason, man, like I can't stand Thibs for his whole time. I think he's a regular season coach. I don't think he's a postseason coach because he doesn't adjust. He doesn't adjust well. He gets out coached like we're watching right now. He did it in Chicago, happened in the one time he got to the playoffs in Minnesota. He gets out coached in the playoffs. And I don't want to turn into the Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Toronto Raptors, where you're a fantastic regular season team and then you're getting waxed in the playoffs every year. I don't want to be that. I don't think it's like, I'm not overreacting at the 1 year. Like, it's a great year. I definitely think we've got something to build on. But Julius or Thibs, something's got to change. I wonder if a new coach could build a better offensive system and unlock Julius more and Jalen and everything, or if Thibs could be a better coach if he didn't have Julius, ISO, nonstop, whatever, have to make him happy all the time. Like, I don't know what the answer is, but I don't really see a path, like JD said, to improve this offseason significantly, at least. Like maybe you move OB or maybe you move IQ or something like minor, but there's not really anything major that's going to happen this offseason. Even if everybody wants to trade Julius, what are you going to get for Julius? What are you going to get for Julius that significantly improves the roster? Yeah. I don't know. I think
it's not over yet, man. I really don't want to get into off-season talk, man. It's not over just yet, man. We got a long off-season summer months to talk about what they do next, man.
Yep.
Yeah. I hear you though. Frustration is real, man.
Got to hustle at MSG, man. We're not getting gentlemen swept. It's not happening. You got to win game 5.
Has to end in Miami.
On a positive note, RJ, man. Look at RJ. He's coming alive.
Yeah.
And like JD said, he was playing for his life as a Knick. I think everybody wanted to send him off to Boston for Jaylen Brown. But he's playing really well, man. I like to see it. I hope he can pull us through in game 5, him and Jalen. We're going to need him.
Yeah, big time, man. Appreciate the call. Cody Glock, let's go.
Oh, Cody Glock is calling?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Let's go.
He's definitely been a sneaky this series.
Yeah, he's got some answering to do, man. Cody Glock. I guess we don't have him. Okay. All right. Cody Glock. See you later.
I guess that was his call.
That was it, man.
That's what he had to say about Mitch.
Go to 919 on the phones. 919. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
What's going on, people? How y'all doing, man? This Shameek. Peace, blessings, and positive vibes. Man, from the start of the game, I did not see no urgency from Julius Randle, no intensity, no playoff atmosphere, urgency, none of that, man. It was heartbreaking to watch. Of course, there's a little bit of problems with the coaching. I do agree with some of you guys. We not hitting no shots, but we got a guy sitting over there on the bench that we paying about $18 million that we could have used. He probably could have hit a couple of threes tonight, but that's what that is. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, Edgar told me a while back, y'all guys check out inbox on the Instagram. But yeah, man, other than that, man, I don't know what else we can do. We getting out hustled, out rebounded, lack of effort and energy. It looks like all them guys are gassed, man. That's what it looks like. And Thibs ain't going deep enough into the bench. Rapid fire, peace, blessing, positive vibes, guys. Y'all be.
HP Cuzco. We're going to announce the winner of the Game 5 giveaways in just a second. HP Cuzco, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Hello?
Yep. Yeah, let's go.
Oh, okay. What's going on, guys?
Good.
Listen, I think we got to remember game 1, no Randle. Feel like we had a chance to win that game. Obi was shooting all right. Game 2, we win. These last 8 quarters in Miami, they've been hectic. It's kind of like we've been up against the ropes in a boxing match for 8 quarters straight. We really haven't put much pressure on them. They're human. I think when we come back to the Garden, we're going to take care of business. I still feel like it's a game 7. I don't think that we should be blaming the coach. They got to ball out. Like, it's basketball. Like, it's schemes and all this stuff, but they got to pass the ball. Like, we got to move the ball and people got to get shots. Like, we running fast break most of the time, and they're not making the best decision on the fast break.
You got Julius running 1-on-3 in the fast. You should make it from your star player. That's terrible.
And we should be happy with what we had. Like, this is a success. We don't need to fire the coach, hit the alarm. This is how we mess up all the time. We need consistency. And I think they listen to Thibs, and it's okay. Our players are going to get better next year and in the next year, and they're going to get better with the experience. So, man, we're good. We're going to fight back. I still think Knicks in 7. And let's rock out. Thibs all the way.
Okay.
Beards.
Let's go.
Yeah. The Hawks thought they were going to get better too.
Yeah.
Man,
you got to be
Doug Collins
too. But I'm saying you got to be careful when you run into that trap of, well, it was a great playoff experience. Our players are going to get better because of it. I think a lot of today's stuff is overrated. It was more prevalent in the previous times where, playoff experience and all this stuff was said to be, this much valuable. How much more playoff experience is Julius Randle going to get before he starts playing better in it? Like sometimes you got to be careful. Like you got to look at certain qualities in a player and identify, is that going to fit for us long term? Because just playing in the playoffs doesn't mean you're going to get better just because you play in a higher intensity environment. Doesn't mean that you're going to get better out of it. Do you have the characteristics? Do you have the qualities to learn from those experiences and build on it? That's why RJ is sort of like an interesting player to figure out, because he shows you flashes that he's a player that could get better from certain experiences. So that's why I'm just saying, with the whole running back stuff, if you have no other choice, go ahead and do it. But gotta be careful about falling into that trap of everything is all fine. Let's come back next year with the same team, same everything, same system, same everything, and we'll just get better somehow. Have to be careful. It's a good point, but I'm just saying it doesn't mean it's relevant for every situation.
I'd say for coaching that, even though it's the players that got to execute on the court. I mean, RJ went back in the lab with Drew Hanlon. His decision-making, his awareness took another level up in this playoffs, did it not? I wonder what Thibs goes through when it comes to practicing 3-on-1 fast breaks, decision-making, who you're looking for. That stuff matters. So coaching does make an impact on how players are able to execute on the court as well. Yeah, the players got to have that IQ, but what you're going over in practice also makes a difference as well. We're seeing that with Drew Hanlon and how RJ's now playing in this postseason.
True indeed, man. All right. Without further ado, man, as I said, we're going to give away these 2 tickets to Game 5. Shout out to our friends at the Forzano Law Firm for rocking with us and supporting us on these on this giveaway. And we're going to announce the winner in just 1 second. Give me a second here. Let's get the winner up. Hang on. So to everybody in the chat once again. Hang on. While I get the winner ready, let me pull up another person on the Discord. Honeybee on the Discord. Honeybee, go ahead and unmute your mic. Honeybee on the Discord going once. Okay. Yep, loud and clear. Let's go.
Yo, so this is my first time,
yeah,
but I'm listening to you guys for about 3 seasons now.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never needed Knicks therapy as much as I did tonight. So that is why I'm calling.
Yeah.
I think you're right when you say that the Heat, they just are the better team. But the reason for that is because we're getting out coached. And if you look at the stats, you guys have mentioned it tonight. We're getting out rebounded. We're getting out hustled, which isn't on the stat sheet. But it just comes down to the fact that Spo just knows what he's doing. He's been here before. Their team's more experienced. They're playing a zone with like 4 guys that are undrafted, and we can't crack it. So with JD, this isn't something where we can just run it back. Like, we got to switch something at least. Just looking at all the post-conference interviews, I think it's pretty clear 2 of the 3 star level players on our team have the right mindset. One of them does not, and that needs to change somehow. Either if we get Johnny Bryant in and he's, able to help Julius get right, great. If we're still with Thibs this next season, I think we're going to have to figure something else out. But just wanted to thank you guys for what you guys do. You make being a Knicks fan a lot more fun. So shout out you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Definitely appreciate it. All right. Without further ado, man, we have picked the winner, and we picked it by random, man. No foot trick. Shout out and congratulations to Ronald Howell. Ronald Howell is getting the 2 tickets to see the Knicks take on the Miami Heat in Game 5.
Wait, what's the last name?
Howell. Like Howell at the move.
Oh, I thought I heard Powell. I was about to
No.
I was about to ask for a revote.
Nah, no.
Hold up.
No foot trick, man.
What type of scheme is this?
Ronald Howell. Congratulations. And salute to everybody who tapped in. Once again, man, respect to our guys at the Forzano Law Firm, man. If you guys have been injured or know anyone who's been injured in a car accident, construction accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, our guys at the Forzano Law Firm can help you on the way to monetary compensation, man. They offer a free consultation and free representation until you get paid. Call them up. Ask for David or Anthony. Tell them CB the Fanchise sent you. 718-372-1397, or you can visit ForzaноLawFirm.com. They're located on 271 Avenue U in Brooklyn. One block away from the F train. Okay. There that is, Danny. Let's hit the outro music, man. Let's read some of these super chats, and then we will wrap this thing up, man. Salute to Nick. Salute to Dep Genius. His bottom line, this franchise is jinxed, and we have dumb players and a horrible coach. Presently, I'm retiring. Sick of this. Okay. Shout out to Christian B. After rightfully criticizing RJ, he came through and accounted, while Randle hasn't been the all-star we were hoping to see in the postseason. Okay. VAR Pat, $5 super chat says, I don't need a poll to tell me the Knicks are done. Their body language tells me they are done. Christian B. If we lose 4-1, I'm not sure Thibs will be there next year, especially with a former Bucks coach available. Junior Karoma says, I think y'all are way too hard on Jules, man. Way too hard. I thought he played well enough for us to win, though, despite the turnovers. Knicks needed stops. Shout out Rhyme Animal Chuck D, $20 super chat says, I got that one. Shout out to who else? Oh, we got a lot of super chats in there. Okay, shout out to
you gonna get the glasses out?
Yeah, I might need them. Hold on. Hang on. I totally lost my spot. We got so many. Shout out to Kai Cons, Big Surge, appreciate it. Tricks the Barber, welcome to Fanchise Channel memberships. Kai's Associate 718, $20 super chat says, I've always felt you can't build a team around a 6'8" power forward. Randle cannot be a building block when he can't show up in the playoffs. We are too small at the wing. Hart tries, but he's too small. He's a 6'4" power forward, small forward. Vidal Stanley, $5 super chat says, Julius says maybe they want it more. I don't know. SMH. My Asia Lacey, $5 super chat says, we have to use our vets. We can't use them without Rose. Only one playoff tested. Cool Vids Man, $20 super chat says, need a new defensive and offensive philosophy. We've been killed from 3 all season, especially from teams that don't shoot well. Thibs insists on packing the paint against a team that's knocking down threes. Make it make sense. Well, the Bucks got sent home early on that same philosophy. Kaiser 718, $5 super chat says, I expect them to push it to game 6. They should be able to get at least it back to Miami or fire Thibs and trade Randle, make the pivot. Robin Chowd Hurry, $5 super chat says, been watching KFTV since day 1. Knicks are taking game 5 and 6. We will take this into 7. Have some faith, Knicks Nation. We won't go down without a fight. El Dontastico, $10 super chat says, it's a tough loss, but I'm excited to see what type of grit our young players like RJ and Grimes have. We have our backs against the wall, down 3-1. Let's go Knicks. Great system. Great stream, fellas. Rhyme Animal Chuck D, $10 super chat says, Julius versus Heat is mind-boggling. I would rather have him throwing elbows and fists, getting ejected and suspended than this beatdown. He's accepted Jimmy Butler laughing and dancing at us. It's hard to take. Shout out to Andrew, $5 super chat. Big Surge, $5 super chat. For the record, this fan base has turned their noses up at Jimmy when he was available. The irony. T, $5 super chat says we should go small, Randle at the 5 and use Hart at the 4. Mitch doesn't have it this series, and we have to be able to switch off the shooters. Shout out to Big Surge again. Gino Jean Jules, Fanchise channel member, salute. Orlando Powell, $5 super chat says, I want to say optimistic, but if Randle's going to let people drive by him with no resistance every play, it's on to the next season. RJ team, salute. Hoodies Vintage, salute. Ron and Steph going back to back right now. This game is going down to the wire. Hoodies Vintage, $10 super chat says, tough one. Couldn't get over the hump every time we close. Heat would hit a 3 or get another loose ball and kill momentum. Thibs is getting a masterclass in coaching this series. Biggest difference. Both are appreciated. Kane Marco, $20 super chat says, I never want to hear any of us say Randle is better than Bam ever again. This is a 3. Steph with the rebound. RJ needs to be our second guy. I'm done with Julius. Want it more? Disgusting. Cool Vids Man, $10 super chat says, being killed from 3 all season, even by teams that don't shoot well. Thibs insists on packing the paint against a team that's knocking down threes. Oh, I got that one. Hoodies Vintage, $5 super chat says, switch coaches and see who got more talent. Players execute, yes, but coaches put players in position to succeed. Yes, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals and play in team. Kobe, $10 super chat says, we're losing to a Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo-less team that comes down to coaching. Miami coach maximizes each player's strengths. It's a system. First Lady Sports, $10 super chat. JD, you're on point. With Spolestra, he's far superior in devising offensive defensive schemes. He knows to take advantage of the mismatch, and he knows how to get most out of his players. Reek03, appreciate it. It says, heel CP has arrived like a WWE wrestler. That's funny. Mars, $10 super chat says, Knicks don't deserve the guard and let those boys play in Baisley Pond Park until they figure this out. My Angel Lacey says, D Rose needs to play. He can bring a spark. If he played for any other team, he would be playing. Steven Ruiz, real sad part is Miami fans don't deserve this. We do perpetrate us. Bad managing and coming up short since. If you ain't proud, get off this team. Shout out to Mateen M. Shout out to all the Fanchise channel members. $10 super chat says, I have trust in the front office that they see what we're seeing. I believe Julius will be moved during the summer with Nick Nurse and Coach Bud out there will dictate Thibs' future. Okay. All right, there that is, man. Remember that this show is available in audio podcast format, man. Check us out on all podcast platforms, all the major podcast platforms. Salute to everybody who tapped in. Salute to JD, Alex, Gamba, Daniel, Tyler, the whole production team. And yeah, man, we'll see you guys Wednesday, man. Game 5. Keep hope alive. Let's go, man. We out of here. Peace.